Hello everybody. So this is going to be a little bit of a random video. Firstly, new toolbox day. Got that beginning of the week. So I can drag it around the workshop. Far better. This is a 2017 Suzuki. Now, I'm just going to run over a couple of things that I now know about these cars because I'd never worked on one before. There's not much in the way of videos or anything online, and the ones that are online are actually in other languages, so bear with me. You might not find all this interesting, you may, depends. So this vehicle is actually a learner driver car. That's to say it's actually an instructor's car. So although it's on a 2017, it's here because it broke down, basically. It was driving along and there was apparently a rattle and then it stopped. As you can see, we are in the middle of taking it apart a lot. The reason for that, I am going to show you. So, this has got 181,000 miles on it. So this particular engine, C10 something or another, yeah. This particular engine apparently was made for 5 years. It was made by Suzuki. It was actually, from all accounts, a very reliable engine. No major known problems with it at all. And the fact that this one has got 181,000 on it does suggest that they do last well, especially as it's had a lot of learner drivers in it. So it's not probably had the easiest life in some respects. And for 181,000, you will agree that the inside of this engine, although there is some wear on the cams appearing, some pitting, the engine actually is clean inside. Even the timing chain, very good. It came here with no, it basically went to another garage. I'll start from the beginning. It went to another garage, they basically told him, no, it needs an engine. Didn't really justify why, what was wrong with it, what's going on. So he called me and said, could you have it picked up and, have a look at it? Okay, not a problem. So I got it down here, and the first thing I did was I just had a little look. And basically you turn it over and it's got no compression whatsoever. So all the valves and everything are all moving at what appears to be the right time. The top end was all what appeared to be lined up. There was nothing wrong, but you couldn't get 3 psi. Wouldn't even get 1 psi out of any of the 3 cylinders. It was missing one spark plug when it turned up as well, but wasn't really relevant because it didn't matter. So then what I did was, an interesting side note, this is actually, they call this a hybrid, and I'm not quite sure why. Now, from all accounts, some of these vehicles were a kind of weird electric hybrid, where the alternator was actually a starter electric motor, so it could actually assist. It was like a belt-driven assist for the engine to help it have more power, so it would only work at low speeds and what have you. This, although listed as being a boost jet hybrid, actually hasn't got any of that, so I'm not quite sure why. I'm going to guess it must be something to do with the differences in emissions. But it's got none of those features. It is just a standard alternator and starter motor setup. Now, what I found with this engine is I verified timing. All the timing's good. Everything is where it's supposed to be. Then I decided to put a pressure cylinder leak down tester in cylinder 1. And what I've actually discovered with this engine is the head gasket is blown between cylinder 1 and 2. That in itself wouldn't be too much of a problem because we could pull the head off and put a new gasket in it. However, cylinder 3 also has no compression. And when we put the cylinder leak down tester into cylinder 3, it basically blows straight past the rings. The rings aren't holding any pressure in the cylinder. And when we stick a boroscope down, I will show you. So we've got the camera, stick that down inside there. So this is inside the cylinder. I'm not sure which one's not focusing. It is this one. It's the light getting you off the camera there. Let's try and turn the light down a little. Yeah, focus. There we go. So that's inside the cylinder. Now if you actually look at the cylinder wall, there is still cross-hatching there, but you can see there are some lines. And if we rotate, there it is. That, I think, is coolant that's leaked down the side of the cylinder there. But then we look at the gouges. Stop. Focus. If you actually look at the gouges there in the cylinder wall, it would need to be, in order to put a head gasket on it, it would need to be possibly oversized and rebored on at least one cylinder. To get rid of those heavy scratches in there. The other two cylinders are kind of in line with that. So it's not worth... I mean, I may still pull the head off once, because we are actually changing the engine in this. We found a good used engine with 28,000 miles on it. And we are basically swapping the engine out for a 28,000 mile engine, which will then fix all of those problems in one fell swoop. Obviously, this comes down to time as well. For anybody there in the comments thinking, well, why don't you just do the head gasket and try and see what you can do with it? And it's a time thing. It's a work vehicle. Whilst it's not working, it's not earning him any money. Obviously, driving instructors in this country at the moment are hard to come by, and it's hard to book driving lessons. Having another one off the road for even longer, because we're trying to save an engine. 1 litre engines have an epitome across the world for being utterly terrible and unreliable. These apparently aren't that bad. So getting a second-hand engine and putting that in, he should get another 100,000 miles out of this car with that engine. I mean, obviously, I'm sure the turbo's probably going to end up needing to be replaced at some point and other bits and pieces, but, you know, the main engine will carry on forever, effectively, because something else will end up killing the car. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? So yes, we're doing an engine transplant in this. And I thought it was interesting, because if we take a look in the sump, because I have the sump off. So here's the sump. Don't know how well it's going to come across on camera, but you can see there's carbon in there. And there is actually also metal. That's the oil pickup tube. There are actually little bits of metal as well, which I suspect are either cylinder or piston ring. Probably piston ring. So we're going to be putting an engine in this. As you can see, we've already started. Got a few tools out. To work on. Oh, there was the other thing. Another sign the head gasket's definitely gone. That is all the coolant that was in the system. That's it. What? A litre and a half, maybe. And you can also see it looks contaminated. It's not clean. It should be green coolant, and green coolant should be a lot lighter than that. That's got something else going on in there as well. So basically, to remove the engine, all we've done is, these are actually fairly straightforward to put an engine in, to be entirely honest. There is a gearbox mount over here. We've obviously got gear cables. There's 2 pipes here for the internal radiator, 2 fuel pipes, a vacuum pipe over here. There was 2 cooling hoses, one here, one here. Goes to the radiator. There's the air conditioning pump down there, but to save draining it out, I have just unbolted it and swung it out the way. Then we have another engine mount here, and then basically this wiring loom just comes off across down the side of the engine here, across the top, and then we've just got the plugs and connectors for everything, and then the wiring loom's bolted on the side of the engine here, and then I've just got the bits left to do underneath on the alternator and starter motor, and then that whole loom can come up there out the way, and then we can drop the engine out. Obviously the new engine is a bare unit, so we are going to have to, I'm not sure if it's going to come with the intake manifold. They say a bare unit, normally they don't bother with the intake manifolds because it's not worth selling separately, but it won't come with a cat or a turbo. It's probably not going to come with any of the vacuum pump or anything like that, fuel pump. That's all going to have to be swapped over from this engine to the new engine. But the intention is to basically put some wood under this engine when it's ready to come out, raise the vehicle off of the engine, and I can separate the gearbox, take the clutch out, which is being reused. It's not actually got that many miles on it. He had it replaced a while ago. Then obviously we can take the turbo off and check that and make sure it's okay, and basically pull the new engine in and then bolt it all back together around itself. Shouldn't be too bad. So let's get it took apart. But yeah, that is all I want to say really. Is this one is just the head gasket that's let go. It's not even an internal failure. So I guess the reliability of this engine is pretty good. It's a little while later and I have now got this engine apart. That damage inside the wall there is very difficult to see without a light on. Yeah, there you go. The bore is actually damaged physically. The head wasn't bolted down evenly at all, so it's clearly heat warped. The head is here, as you can see. We do have different coloured cylinders. That's the one where the cylinder's gone, so you can see that's been burning oil clearly for a while. So that engine, it is done. There's no saving it. So I'm going to correct a couple of things I said earlier in the video. This engine is a K10C. Now, what makes this a hybrid, and this one is actually a hybrid, a hybrid, is the alternator and the tensioner. The difference between the K10C is this is a K10C SHVS. The SHVS makes it a hybrid. Now, annoyingly, that's a different, so the 1 litre, the standard 1 litre is a different engine to this engine completely. As in, right down to there's some earth bolt holes on there. So that is an earth. And on this engine, and another 1 litre, that's 2 different sizes. It's an M6 on this and an M8 on the 1 litre. Don't know why, don't quite understand the reason for it. And if you look at the block, so this block, the timing cover that goes over this end is also different in how everything mounts, and this bracket here from the standard to this one is also different. Just so you are aware as well, the difference between the 1 litre and the 1.225, I think it is, or the 1.2 they call it, is actually, they just added another cylinder on. So the 1.2 is actually a 4-cylinder. All that being said, here is our replacement engine. A couple of weeks and quite a lot of fucking around later. Just saying. There it is, all up and running. Purring away like a little kitten. 1 new engine, done. A couple of heat cycles, give it back to the customer.